Another day, another dollar. What's up, y'all sexy people? So I've got the transmission out of my truck, the nv3500. Just seeing some numbers on the side of it. Not sure what they're for. Anyways, nv3500 out of a 96 Dodge Dakota that is, or was now, in my 89 Ram 50. So, just going over some differences. So, thought I'd bring you along. Yeah. So, let's check it out. So, there we go. Didn't realize there was a zoom. It was zoomed in. So, I'll point it out in case somebody else notices it. I got a gap in the bell housing. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. So, if I measure from the top left bolt hole to the end of the transmission, we're at about 34 inches. I have to be looking at it from my angle. So, same bolt hole on this transmission, the T56 Magnum, and the shaft only comes up to about there, so you may have to use your imagination. About 36 and a half. So, and this in here was about 33 and a half to 34. So we're about 2 inches difference. And then as you can see, where my shifter lines up at is going to be on this hole over here. We're looking about 20 inches ish, 20 and a quarter to the center of that one, to about 20 and a quarter to the center of that one. So I'll have to buy the shifter for the forwardmost position. I've already removed the shifter, unbolted it. I've looked down inside there. Guess I could unbolt that one again, but I'm gonna have to take my word on it. Try to save some time on this video. And then reverse light switch sensor is here on this one. And it's right here on this one. It comes with a pigtail. Looks like it's probably the same plug-in I currently have. So that should be just great. This is a speedometer sensor. Will not be using it. Same as I did not use this one. This here is your reverse lockout. The splines for my slip yoke are different between my Chrysler nv3500 and this T56 Magnum. So, all in all, from the top of it here, anytime I was taking this one in and out, this ear, including this ear over here, would hit in between my headers, in between my header on one side and the firewall transmission tunnel on this side. So I've already stuck this bell housing up in there. It does not have those ears on it. It goes right in. Doesn't rub. Got plenty of clearance. if you've got a 96 Dakota or similar and you're switching from the NV3500 to the T56 Magnum, I would say you got plenty of room in the transmission tunnel for it. On my truck, because I didn't put the whole transmission tunnel in it, I don't think, because this in here slanted down and this in here don't, it just goes straight out. I think I'm going to have to redo part of my transmission tunnel just for this back piece here, because it don't slant down like this one does. So you can see a difference there. And then it looks like the tail shaft is in about the same location. Transmission mounting point, roughly same location. Again, if we pick a bolt hole here, you gotta be careful on which one we pick. So if we go from the second one down to this one, we're at about 27 and a half. We go second one down on this one, again about 27 and a half. So not a big change on your transmission cross member. Whatever mount you get with it, you may just have to drill some new holes. It may or may not be up higher, and I did not check. We're about 3 3/4 from it just sitting on the table. And this in here is about 2 3/4. Doesn't necessarily mean that the mount itself isn't an inch taller. So come across that road when we get to it. Will probably be a little while, so don't expect anything soon out of that. I will have to buy the block off plate for the shifter and the relocator shifter for that. So, but I will show, since this is unbolted, it does already have both nub holes in there. So if you wanted to take and have the shifter mounted like that, or flip it around and shift, put it there, you can. Same thing here. You just pull this plate off. I've already pulled it off, verified. It does have everything in there to just pop the plate off, bolt the new shifter on, and you're good to go. Bolts. I know I spoke about that in the last video. Let's see. So I think I spoke about it in the last video. I don't know if I can set you up here or not. You gotta stop looking around my place. Looking at things you ought not be looking at. Alright. That good enough? A little bit better. There you go. Bolt wise, no washer. Can't really see anything, can you? So, I don't know, even if you can see that, it's a little bit better. Flip it back and drop the bolt. Alright. Let's put it over here. So, but just lay it on there. It's probably easier, better. And then now I ain't got any light. Yeah, it's not enough light at least. Yeah, we should be good. End up knocking crap off the damn table. Alright, so press completely closed. Again, without a washer. See it. It don't even come through the very end. Barely to the very end. By the time you throw a washer on it, and there, it still doesn't even protrude the hole. It may only be 2 or 3 threads, but that's only ½ an inch distance there anyways. Not to mention the ones that it comes with also include a lock washer. By the time you have your bolt, lock washer, and flat washer, albeit you will gain a little bit more once the lock washer is fully tightened down. But are you okay with starting your threads and tightening it up at that point? You've literally got maybe 1.5 threads to even start your bolt. I assume this is where these are supposed to go. If not, and they go in the bell housing, because these are the same thread. It's a 3/8 16 thread bolt, I believe. 3/8 something. Let's see. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So if we compare it on this transmission, the nv3500, from that bolt to the factory bolt, I guess you really can't tell on camera, but if we take, flip you back around, that was a bad analogy, no way to look at it. So take both bolts, the factory bolt, one that comes with the QuickTime bell housing, get it in there, kind of hard to do. Get the washers even. You can see the QuickTime one is a little bit shorter. Maybe thinking not a giant big deal. Okay. But that's, I gotta hold that just right. There's 1/4 inch difference. Big deal. So whether their bolt is stronger or not doesn't matter if it pulls the threads out, because it's not long enough. Same thing for the bell housing, still not long enough. So let's see. factory bell housing bolt looks like. See, and it, you can see, barely sticks through by at least a thread. And this has the washer already on it. This bolt is technically long enough. I'd still like another 1/8 inch. I guess that could be on your own personal preference, if you don't mind losing the threads in your bolt holes, making this $1,000 bell housing completely trash. This is just my opinion. Not trying to throw a ranting fit, but so, as stated in the previous video, the bolts that it comes with, throw them away. Save them for a different project. Don't use them on this crap. The bolt nut washer combo, if I could ever be fully prepared for a video. So if we screw the nut to where it's at least somewhat even with the threads, put that bolt to the side, and take right there, this fits. I figured that would fall. Ain't gonna make the video any better, but I gotta pick it up. Dang it, a big thick piece of metal. Let's see. Free up my hands. I'm gonna thread the bolt in there just a little bit to make sure that doesn't happen again. Yeah. Or at least lessen up the effects of it. So back to the bolt nut and washer ordeal. So there is in the bottom of the plate all these different holes that do line up with the bottom of the bell housing. Now that that's back on. Crappy video time, everybody. Anyways, so you've got, see, I do believe bolt hole, dowel pin, bolt hole, bolt hole, bolt hole, bolt hole, bolt hole, dowel pin, another bolt hole, not a butthole, but a bolt hole. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you'll have your 2 starter holes. And you'll have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those bolts, nuts, and washers. I assume there's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Alright. So that's where those will go. I assume since this is all SFI rated, this plate is mainly on here in case your clutch or flywheel explodes, shrapnel doesn't come out, hit your oil pan, come out from underneath the vehicle, bounce off the ground, hit somebody. Might be too many lights in the windows. Trying to make me look like an angel. Anywho, one other thing I was wanting to talk about is the location of the starter on these. If I can't find I'm gonna set you up there. Yeah. Now I gotta walk in front of the camera. You can see everything. Yep. Alright. So all of your bolt holes for the most part will line up. All the important ones, your bell housing bolts, all line up. Dowel pins. Obviously I ain't got it totally bolted up, but you get the gist of it. That's all that really matters. So you can see your starter location does change. For me, not a big deal. I would imagine for most people, not a big deal. If you're running headers on your vehicle, if you've got the NV3500, this is going to take up space from your starter sitting out. So with the T56 and QuickTime bell housing and the motor plate, you can see that it brings the starter in. We'll give you a couple inches of more room over here. It does take up a little bit more space on the bottom. Not a big deal to me, I don't think. You shouldn't be bottoming out that bad anyways. I guess I could have stuck my bolts through here and held that on, but that's just for the video. So, changes the starter location, brings it in. Should kind of help out. And then if we move on to the flywheel, that thing's heavy. It would have sat in here something like that. We're going to the QuickTime bell housing. Kind of hard to show, but it does not fit. So you gotta get a different flywheel. Ouch. Kind of already intending on getting a different flywheel, because the one I've currently had is just a stock Magnum flywheel. This video is just freaking terrible. All over the place. And the lights. I got a light coming through the daggone windows. Make everybody dizzy. Give you one of those. So, anyways, so bolt holes, the bolts. If you're not buying ARP, and be careful because the ARP bolts are normally shorter also. Use your factory bolts unless they break. They're not all going to break at one time. Keep an eye on them, and then if you see some of them breaking, buy new ones. If you want to try using ARP, you can try using ARP. It's going to be everybody's personal preference. Yeah, I get distracted. Don't think about it too much. Bunch of weirdos. Anyways, thought I'd go over the measurements on that. Flip you around one last time. So, because of the T56 Magnum having the internal slave cylinder versus the external slave cylinder, and big ears like this sticking out there, you've got one sticking out there, and you've got little ones over here. You've got more room side to side with the T56 than what you do the nv3500. The only thing you don't have more room on is where the tail shaft goes down, and then on the Magnum it goes straight out. But you should still have room. Other difference, input shaft. Diameter on the nv3500 is bigger than the T56 Magnum. Assuming that you've got the GM, and assuming that they sent me the correct one. Find out when I go to buy a pilot bushing or bearing. And then I believe I already said your slip yoke is different. This is a 31 spine. That is supposed to be a 31 spine. But the size of the shaft itself is a different size. I want to say that it's got a larger shaft than the 3500, because my old shaft won't slide over that, but it does slide over this. So anybody trying to do a swap, and you've got a Dakota, I say Dakota because that's what this nv3500 is out of, that would be things to look forward to. Buying a different clutch because the splines are different. The shaft itself is different. I don't know. Is there a particular lighting that makes me look better? Maybe if I grew out some hair. Or got a longer beard. I'll never know. Nobody watches the videos that long. So this is the end. Hopefully something here helped. We'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. See you next time.